Our Law and Justice segment tonight, WikiLeaks has released a massive trove of CIA spying files, 8,761 documents in all. According to founder Julian Assange, the documents are the most comprehensive CIA release ever. Yes, even larger than the Snowden files. The documents account for the entire hacking capacity of the CIA, and Assange says there may be more to come. Take a look.
Now, if what I have read is true, then this seems to be an incredibly damaging leak in terms of the tactics, techniques, procedures, and tools that were used by the Central Intelligence Agency to conduct legitimate foreign intelligence. In other words, it's made my country and my country's friends less safe.
Joining me now is Executive Vice President at the Center for Security Policy, Jim Hansen. Jim, good to see you.
Pleasure, Liz.
Jim, I'm just going to get right to the point here. This leak, 8,761 classified CIA documents, the entire hacking capacity of the CIA. How devastating is this leak to our national security?
It is pretty horrifying. I got to admit that, I wish they had not been able to grab all of it. And if this is all of it, I kind of doubt it's all of it. I think that might be overblown. But it is a significant portion. And I think it brings up two problems. Number one is now these capacities are degraded. And bottom line is, I want our spy agencies to have the coolest toys, okay? Right. They're doing a vital function. They're spying on the bad guys. We want them to have the best stuff. We want them to be able to look at anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere, and make sure we can find out what the bad guys are doing. And then the flip side of the equation is, was any of this used improperly against U.S. citizens? I think that's a secondary question, and given the recent Trump wiretapping issues and things like that, I think it's a legitimate concern. There are a lot of folks in the intelligence community who are politicizing their jobs. So
right, and that was actually my primary question when I heard this story yesterday. My first question was, is there abuse that's happening here? Because I don't have a problem with us hacking into or us spying on our enemies, especially those who wish to harm us. That's how it goes. Russia spies on us, we spy on Russia. That's how it is, ideal or not. My question was, is there abuse happening? Are these big brother surveillance state capacities, these cool tricks or cool toys that you refer to, are they being used against you and me?
Let's hope not, but I am less secure in saying that than I was prior to some of the revelations about what the Obama administration was doing during the campaign. I mean, they made a fairly big attempt to look at what Donald Trump was doing and his associates were doing in ways that had a lot less to do with potential problems with their Russian connections and more to do with politics. And that's horrifying. If you look at the leaks, a lot of which came from the CIA and the NSA and the folks who are using those cool toys, those were actually part and parcel of the capabilities that were just outed by WikiLeaks. So those were used against our enemies, but the information was then used against Donald Trump by rogue folks within the CIA. We need to find those people. We need to send some of them to jail to encourage the others to knock it off.
Right, and again, that was one of my concerns, because even if we don't have any proof that there's abuse happening, even if we have no evidence or substantiation to the idea that these hacking tools, this ability to turn a smart TV into a one-way microphone to record conversations, even if that's not being used against us now, the potential for abuse is there because that capacity is there. And Jim, call me a skeptic here, call me a cynic, but I don't trust our government. We've seen it too many times where the capacity, the power of the government is harnessed to target people of the opposite political view. I mean, we saw it under President Obama with the IRS. He used that agency as a tool to shut down his political opponents. And even if it's not happening with this now, it could happen in the future, and that scares me.
The temptation to use it is always going to be there. And as you said, one of the problems we've had over the past decades is that people whose politics were more important to them than their patriotism, or who confuse the two to be, kind to them, have decided that the government is a great place to work. And the overwhelming majority of those people are Democrats. You can tell by the contributions coming from government employees, they're somewhere in the 80 to 90% to Democrat candidates. So when you've got that one-sided a situation and you've got the organs of government and state power in the hands of essentially one political persuasion, you've got a problem. We're seeing the results of that. And I think, now we have an idea that they may be in our living rooms. I don't think we want that. I don't want it, and we need to make sure that A, we root out the folks who are misusing it and put some solid oversight on them.
Right, and it just seems to me that there's a way, or there should be a way, where you can expose abuse by our government without endangering national security. Because I always fall on the side, against these people that are exposing classified information. They were entrusted with our safety, our security, our family's safety, our family's security, and they're betraying it for their political point. Jim, let me ask you, Snowden, in a similar situation a couple years ago, he revealed himself because he didn't want the mole hunt to happen. He wanted to say, it was me, I did it, this is the point I wanted to make. Do you expect the same sort of operative to emerge or be found in this case? Or do you think it was tied to some other nation, perhaps?
Yeah, that's a good question. If it is one person who dropped this to one other person, I hope we catch them. I think the bigger problem is it's not just one person. Whoever gave WikiLeaks this information, I hope they spend some time making little rocks out of big rocks at Leavenworth. But the larger problem is the rest of the folks who during the campaign, during the Obama administration, were politicizing the intelligence that was going out and who also were leaking information to damage their opponents. We need to find all of them as well and basically shut down their ability to do this. And there are ways to do that without damaging national security. There are oversight with the House Intelligence Committees and the Select Intelligence Committees that whistleblowers can bring that information up and shut these folks down.
Right, and I assume you're referring to General Flynn, the leaks via the wiretap that General Flynn was talking to the Russian ambassador. That was the first in this whole, Trump-Russia thing that really got going about a month ago. Absolutely outrageous. I mean, I said this yesterday on the show, Jim. I don't understand how Democrats can simultaneously claim that there was no wiretap, there was no electronic surveillance that happened to the Trump campaign at Trump Tower, and also say that General Flynn was talking on the phone to the Russian ambassador and that they knew that fact because of a recorded conversation. Absolutely contradictory.
And they do have the ability to speak out of both sides of their mouth, sometimes at the same time. It's shameless and it's disgraceful to watch, but they can. The funny thing about the entire current wiretapping scandal is that it was mostly outed by the leakers to the compliant media to help Hillary's campaign. So you've got Obama, Hillary, the compliant media all thought they were going to take down Donald Trump. They failed. And now, because Trump's in charge, he gets to look at all the dirty tricks they pulled, and he's going to catch some people, and they're going to suffer, and that's a good thing.
Right. I certainly hope so, now that he finally has that information, even if it's too classified for us to look at. Jim, thanks for coming on the show. It was great to talk to you.